Hey, welcome. It's March the 15th, 2024, coming to you live from Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's Into the Fire, new episode number 14. I can't believe it. How you doing, Ronnie?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. You know, I was thinking about this last night. I was thinking we really are pretty blessed to be able to have this opportunity to do this each and every week. And actually, I'm starting to look forward to it every week as opposed to being nervous. I'm starting to feel like we're getting a little bit of the hang of this. And so far, so good, I think. The viewers seem to have a lot of great comments. I haven't had any negative comments as of yet. I can tell you this much, that my mother-in-law, I'll mention her name on here, so she'll just love that. It's Deborah. She absolutely loved last week's episode with Kevin Briggs. And it was a little unfortunate that we had to cut him off as early as we did. I want to remind the viewers about, if you didn't catch that episode, you should go back and rewatch it, buy his book. Well, actually, I think he said he was going to do a redo on a couple of things. So he wanted you to kind of wait on that. But Kevin was amazing. I completely agree. I'm glad that some of you have joined us on Rumble. We're going live on Rumble, and there's a little bit of an issue on Facebook, and I can't really get into it in its entirety, but it's kind of a free speech issue that kind of came up, and we will leave it at that. So the Facebook page for KGRA, in reference to another show that made a statement about something, and it really wasn't bad, but Facebook disagreed. So right now they are working on ironing out that issue, and but tonight's going to be a great show. So tell me something going on in your world, Ronnie. I mean, I always love to hear about the riveting world of Intel analyst. Is that really what you are? What are you, man?
Yeah, sure. Crime and Intel analyst. No earth-shattering news there. I did get to come and have lunch with you guys this week, so that was nice to see some of you guys. And our old buddy Kip was in town, one of the first 48 camera guys. I hadn't seen him in a few years. And then the other thing I'd like to say is it's my daughter's 17th birthday, so happy birthday to her.
Happy birthday to Alexis. Are we allowed to say her name? I guess I just did, so forget it. Hey, that's awesome. Yeah, we had a good time having you with us. Kip is going to be a future guest down the line. I don't know when he's going to be able to be on here, but he is what I call one of the most interesting camera people ever. I've got I just love Kip. He's one of my faves. So anyway, we will definitely have him on. And the reason why we were just a tad bit late tonight, I'm sorry for that. It's just the way it goes. When we have a worldwide live radio show like we do, that there's a lot of moving parts behind the scenes that you wouldn't believe it if you saw it. Amanda's been running around behind the curtain. I've been able to see her running around from one end to the other, trying to. We had an issue with one of the guests, and hopefully that's going to get ironed out. So anyway, we welcome everybody tonight. I want to do one other thing. I want to put a shout out. Amanda, throw up the Nonsense Chronicles. I wanted to give him a. Yep, there you go. That's a podcast that I highly recommend. That's from my buddy Doug Satchery from the Tony Satchery Spice Company out of the great state of Louisiana. And I mentioned him, and the reason why I wanted to give him a shout out actually is because number one, he's super cool. The other thing is because he's always putting the word out on our podcast when he's doing his podcast. And one of the things that he actually did, and I'll just mention this, Ronnie, is that when he came here and he did a little cooking, I basically provided him he asked if we had any items that we could send his way, and we were able to do that. And he took it down to a benefit for somebody down in Houston, Texas, and it was fun. So they were able to generate some money from some of the things that we put together, and that's good. This guy's suffering from cancer, and he's needing some money and so forth. So we were able to do a little something for this guy. And if Doug says he's good people, then that's good people. That's good enough for me. So anyway, that's what we did. And I think Doug and I might go see a band. I don't know if this is the kind of band that Ronnie you would be into, and you'll probably know them like that. But it's Drowning Pool. Have you ever heard of them?
Heard of them? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go up and we're gonna catch them up in Wichita. So if you're listening to this, check out Drowning Pool's schedule, and if you're lucky, you might actually go to that, and you'll see me and you'll see Doug, and we're gonna be there checking us. Well, you'll probably see us backstage, but we're gonna get full access VIP treatment, right? Something like that.
That's the only way for you.
Anyway, all right. So let's go. Let's jump into this. I'm really excited. I know both of these guys. I know Jonathan and I know Danny. I've known Danny for probably, man, I think I've known Danny for 16 or 17 years actually. And Jonathan is really. This is going to be a fun story because this is exactly what I like with respect to the show. And just to kind of give you a brief, I'm going to start off with his bio right quick. And on his bio, we're going to start with the video real quick. Amanda, go ahead and start with the video. I want you guys to see what we're going to talk about the 911 Locator, which is a light bulb that Jonathan came up with. And I think it's just absolutely tremendous. And I hope that you all find it as interesting as I do. And go ahead and start that video for me, Amanda.
Getting to an emergency quickly is the goal for our first responders. However, too often, some residences are just too hard to find.
Yeah, News 4's Justina Latimer has more on a new product that's lighting the way.
Well, I'll tell you, seconds count while saving lives, and one first responder is proving that through the switch of a light bulb. It's a call that he still remembers.
That call has stuck with me. It's kind of haunted me for however long it's been now.
Retired first responder Jonathan Harrison says back in 2009, a call came into his unit for a 2-year-old in cardiac arrest.
They dispatched us to a road that I was familiar with, but I also knew the addresses were just notorious for being out of order.
His crews tried their best to find the home.
The mother was a single mother, and she was doing CPR on her 2-year-old. Of course, you can imagine what she was going through. The only thing that she could think to say was, we're the third from the end.
Unfortunately, the little one didn't make it. That moment was when he knew something had to change.
Even today's world with the on-dash navigation devices that we have, the technology that's there, it's just we still have problems finding a house.
Jonathan came up with this light bulb, the Locator 911.
And when you call 911, you just touch the app and it turns it in. It opens the app to this area here. You just dial 911. As soon as you hit dial, it turns the light on the porch into that strobing beacon.
A beacon they hope will light the way for other first responders.
I can tell you that if they had the Locator 911 back then, we would have gotten that 4 minutes back.
And they're hoping to come up with another version by summer that doesn't involve Wi-Fi to reach all communities. Reporting in Columbia, Justina Latimer, News 4 Nashville.
All right, let me read this bio real quick for Jonathan. He began his career as in the emergency medical services in 1993 when he obtained his basic EMT license. After working for 2 to 3 years, he applied and was accepted to the paramedicine program in the University of Alabama in Huntsville in 1996, and he graduated with honors 18 months later. And I was a basic EMT, and I'm here to tell you that is super hard to do, because that paramedic program, I've heard some people say it's even more difficult than the RN program. He continued to work in EMS for many years in various team and supervisory roles, as well as attending the medical death investigation course in 2000 when he became one of the death scene investigators in his county. And he'll tell us what county that is because I can't remember which one that is. But in 2009, he was involved in a call with a 2-year-old child in cardiac arrest. Due to the address inconsistencies and an inaccurate GPS device, his arrival was prolonged over 4 minutes, and the child ultimately did not survive. He began that very night brainstorming of ways that the scenario would never repeat again. And with the help of Danny Cupples, who's a good friend of mine, in the early stages, they successfully double patented his dream, and the Locator 911 was born. And since the early development stages, they have since added other partners and all work hard to see that the Locator can reach as many people as possible. He retired from active EMS work in 2017, still remains very close with all of his brothers and sisters who he served, for over 25-year career. And I'm going to welcome Jonathan. Hopefully I'm going to welcome Danny as well, but Jonathan, we'll start with Jonathan. Come on in, Jonathan. Amanda. Well, while we're waiting for him to come on in, somebody actually messaged me just recently. There he is. There he is. Hey, Danny's here too. And Danny's here as well. Thank you. Can you hear us, Danny?
Yes, I can.
Hey, there he is.
I was getting pretty nervous there for a little bit.
Well, I was too. But here we go. So somebody asked me, hey, do you have one of these bulbs? Yes, I do. And thank you to Jonathan for making that happen. I have one. I've had this for a long time. And so I've got it all hooked up outside, etc. But I want to welcome you. There it is. That's the bulb. He's got different variations that you could actually get. So tell us about what's been going on, Jonathan. You came to my department and you met me. I gave you a little tour, and I love the idea. I'm very much into the innovation that you've done here, and tell us about it.
Well, first off, thank you for having Danny and myself. It's a pleasure to be here to speak with you guys and for all your listeners. So yeah, this thing started actually, in 2009 when that unfortunate call happened. And technology back then just wasn't where it needed to be. There's been other devices years ago that you go to a light switch and you flick it 3 times and it flashes your front porch. Well, the problem with that is you have to be able to make it to that said light switch. If you're in the back of the house or you're down and can't get up, you can't make it to that light switch. So it's not worth having. That's why I wanted to do something where when a call is made, you don't have to think about it. It does it for you. So technology started coming around, and probably latter part of 2012, 2013, I kind of got a grasp on exactly what I wanted to do. In the spring, I think it was, of 2014, I had exhausted everything that I could do with it, and I needed help. Danny, I've worked with at that point 20 years, or almost 20 years at that point. Was a good friend of mine, so I thought, I'm gonna call Danny. Danny will get this. So I went out to his house, sat down with he and his wife at their kitchen table, and I said, Danny, I'm going to be honest. I'm an honest guy. I said, I'm here to solicit money from you. I said, so I said, I need some help with this product. I said, I think it can make a difference. And I told him the story of the child that didn't survive, which I'll go into that. And Danny got it. He's like, you don't have to say anymore. He said, I got it. He said, what do we need to do? So Danny and I teamed up. We filed for patents with the United States Patent Office, and we successfully achieved that. We were granted a design and a utility patent for the Locator 911, which is locked up for 17 years, so they tell me.
Wow.
And that was the easy part, was the patents. Then we did a lot of research and development. Danny and I took it as far as we could take it. And then we brought on a couple of more guys that are good friends of ours that kind of helped, bring everything together. And then in 2022, February 2022 is when we launched the Locator 911. And it's been great. We've had, testimonials, customers that have emailed us. It's been a blessing to be a part of this and to share it with my friends, Danny, of course, and the other 2 guys that are involved. But to get more in detail with this call that started the whole thing, without naming the county that this happened in, just respect. This happened in 2009, in the fall of 2009. We had been absolutely slammed all day long. I mean, it was call after call after call after call. And finally we had a break to just try to get some rest. And it was about 1:00 in the morning, and I laid down, and just, how it works. About 30 minutes later, boom, tones go off. Medic 42 needs you to respond to such and such road, which I won't say, of course. But 2-year-old possible cardiac arrest. So, and Danny can kind of vouch for me on this one. Usually, and it's good of this, that's usually not the case. With kids, it's usually not a cardiac arrest situation. It's mom and dad's gotten scared, or the child was choking, or possibly a seizure, and it's usually never that.
Right.
But you assume that it is. So you're up and you're going as fast as you can go. We get in the truck, and we had a GPS device in the truck, and we input and then we had a protocol in the county was, whether you know where you're going or not, you input the address in that GPS device. So that's what I did. I input the address. I knew the road like the back of my hand, but the addresses were literally, like that news story said, they were all jumbled up. Typically, when you're going down the road, you can kind of count out the mailboxes. The evens are on one side, the odds are on the other, or vice versa. This road in particular, once it got farther out in the county, it didn't matter. It was everywhere. It was a mess. So as we got out closer to this house, the GPS said, the famous last words of "You've reached your destination." And we looked around, and it was pitch black. It was nothing but darkness. Of course, that the anxiety level is now going up a little bit more. Then, of course, dispatch calls back and said, "This is confirmed. CPR is in progress." So we kept on going down the road. Probably a half to 3/4 of a mile farther down the road, we come to a driveway that I saw the address. It was on the opposite side of the road that it should have been on, because I was counting the even numbers on the right side. We get to the driveway, and I see that address. And I told my partner, I said, "There it is." Well, as we turned in and the headlights caught it, there were 3 other mailboxes with it on that driveway, and they were marked B, C, and D. So there was a large family that lived on one driveway, and there were 4 houses or mobile homes that were up probably a 1/4 mile driveway that went up this hill and kind of turned behind some trees. Had no idea which one of these houses to go to. So I got on the radio and I said, "Dispatch, can you advise?" Told them the situation. And the mother was, of course, doing CPR on the 2-year-old. She was absolutely hysterical, which I can't imagine going through that. All she could say was, "We're the third from the end," but she didn't say if it was third from the top, third from the bottom. So basically, we stopped the ambulance halfway up the driveway. I grabbed my med bag, my airway kit, and I took off running to what I thought would be the third from the end of the driveway. And I went to the second from the road, if that makes sense. Banged on the door, crickets. There was nothing. So it was the next house up. So I took off running, and it's probably, I don't know, 150, 200 yard run, something like that. I make it up to the house, and I open up, and I could hear her inside. I got through the back door, and of course it was legitimate. I mean, she was doing CPR on her 2-year-old. All of that fiasco had added over 4 minutes to our arrival time of what it should have taken us to get there. We did not have a successful outcome, unfortunately. And I told my partner that night, and we went ahead and did everything we could do, of course. And at the hospital after that call, I remember talking to my partner. I was like, "Man, there's something that we can do. There's got to be something." And I think at this point, I didn't even know about the little flick it 3 times light switch. I was just thinking, there's got to be something we can do. And then he said something that kind of instilled something to me. He's like, "Man, if they could just flick their porch light or something." Then that just kind of stuck with me. I was like, "Yeah, that would have been good." Of course, in her situation, she couldn't have done that. She was doing CPR.
Yeah, right.
2-year-old.
Let me ask you a quick question, Jonathan.
Yeah.
What was the cause of the child having a cardiac arrest at 2?
It was a traumatic arrest. I don't know how detailed that I'm allowed to go into.
Well, I mean,
it was an asphyxiation traumatic arrest. So early oxygen was a huge player in that particular arrest. So an additional 4 minutes, you can imagine, I'm not a swimmer, but if I try to hold my breath for 2 minutes, I'll about pass out. You can imagine, if you're not breathing, the extra time that you're not getting oxygen to your brain. It's devastating, especially in that type of situation. So,
yeah.
But it was a traumatic asphyxiation cardiac arrest.
And did Danny work with you at the time, or what? How exactly did you come into the?
Yeah, so Danny worked. We worked together initially when I started in EMS in 1993. I actually ran my very first call with Danny. So, but he worked in another county, and this happened to be in a bordering county, is where it was.
Okay.
So he was not there.
Now, Danny, I've known you probably for how many years? I think it's 16 or 17 years, honestly. I wore this shirt in honor of you, buddy, because this is the shirt from the medical examiner's office in New York City.
I started to wear mine. I swear I did.
Well, anyway, what's really neat about Danny is that first of all, Jonathan, you can't pick a better partner. I mean, to go into business with. He's just one of those people that is a class act, in my opinion. So anyway, Danny and I actually we started going to this medical legal death investigation class in New York City, and how in the heck I got into that program. Well, that's another story. But I'm one of the few cops, along with Ronnie. Ronnie actually went to one of them. But I went to all three of them. And every time I'd look up when I'd get to New York City, I'm like, I know that guy. He was at the other one. And he and I think we went to every one of them together. And I think I was the only person, vice versa, that actually went together through all of the three classes. So I actually went to dinner with him in Little Italy, him and his wife, and I love her too. She's great. So anyway, Danny, you get involved in this along with Jonathan, and you guys start coming up with a plan. And I'm sure that this is like reading Russian to you guys. This is not your forte to either one of you, to design a light bulb and how you go about doing it. So what was your experience when you first get asked by Jonathan to join up with this?
Well, at first, I knew exactly what he was saying, because anybody that's in the first responder field knows. And if y'all been in there long enough, I know Jonathan, when you first started, it was this way as well. We had paper maps that we had to get out of the ambulance and pull out and try to find the right coordinates through a paper map to try to find it. And then, as time went on and progressed, we had GPS. And even when Jonathan, he put his information into GPS and still couldn't find them. So when he came to my house and sat down at my table, I about cried, because I knew exactly what he was talking about. Because I deal with it. I still ride the ambulance. I'm on there and I love it. I love it every day that I'm on there. A lot of people can't say that, but I can. But I do love my job, and to not be able to get there is absolutely, it's heartbreaking. You know that you can help if you can get there. When he came and sat down at the table and told me, I told him, I said, don't say no more. We've got to get this done, and we can get it done. And we went to work. As soon as he left, we got in and got those patents done. But I see it even today, as we've even more progressed, it's still hard to find. And I think that one of the biggest reasons is because of how things are growing, how houses are being built quickly. New roads are being built, and GPS just can't keep up with it.
Right.
But when he came, I said, listen, dude, we got to get this done. And and if you ask anybody on the street, whether you're a police officer, firefighter, paramedic, Uber driver, it don't matter. When you try to find something and you can't do it, it's frustrating. And it's just that way in all fields, especially in the police or fire and EMS. But us as I'm not going to say ambulance drivers, but that's what we are. And that's what we're called for years. But a lot of times when we get there, the police is already there, or the fire. So that's our locator. So when many times, but sometimes you're not there. The fire's not there. So we have to find that locator, and it's not there. Right. When I tell people, explain to them, especially in the first responding field, that think about that fire truck that's already there. That's what you're going to see.
Oh, we lost Danny.
That's okay.
So, Jonathan, I see a couple of comments over there on the side, and I just
sell this to some.
But Danny, we're losing you.
What it can do and how it can help.
Hey, Jonathan, maybe you can answer this, or Danny, either one. Danny, I
don't know. I believe in it from right now as much as I did from day one. Jonathan, I ran the first call with you, and I think I ran the last call with you too.
Yeah, you did.
So, hey, the question I have for one of you was,
I've lost. I can't hear anymore.
Okay, so the question I had, Jonathan, was, I think that video
can you guys hear me?
How it works with the app. Can you explain how it works? A couple of the comments were about, is it connected to like Alexa or Siri or anything like that?
Gotcha. Sorry, I can't see the comments. I know there's a way to, but I don't want to push a button. I'm afraid I'll lose something.
No, it's all good.
We're actually we're working on developing where it will be Alexa compatible. Unfortunately, right now the way the app is coded, that's not possible. So the way it works right now, there are two different versions, I guess you could say, of the bulb. So there's the original version, which is the Wi-Fi version. There's a free app that you download on your phone. It's Android or iOS. It's free to download. You just make a simple account, and then through a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi network at your home, you connect your bulb, and then you could set your the regular light portion of the locator, because it is an LED bulb. You can use it for everyday use. You can set a timer for your bulb to come on at night and go off in the morning, however you want to do so. But if you call 911 through the app, as soon as you hit call, it changes from those regular pretty white lights to that strobing beacon. And we understand that there sometimes, and I know you guys being police officers, you will get this really quick. In domestic violence situations, there may be certain situations to where that caller doesn't want that person there to know they've called. So if they were to call 911 and say, "Hey, I need a pizza," guys, you've heard that before. If they call through the app and the lights go off, they're going, "Hey, you called 911. Well, we want it to where if that's a situation, they can call outside of the app. It's not going to activate the light. When they're ready to, you can go back into the app and manually set that bulb off and go. Another reason would be if you got somebody outside your house snooping around, you can manually activate that light. Don't have to call 911. Somebody sees something flashing like that, I'm getting out of there. Excuse me, I'm getting out of there. So,
yeah.
But that's the Wi-Fi version. The other version we brought to market a few months later is a simple remote control version. It's for folks that don't have good internet service or Wi-Fi, or they don't own a smartphone, or they just want something simple that they can use. Literally, you screw it in, you pair the remote with the bulb. It takes about 3 seconds to do it, and that's it. You push the white button for white light, red button for the emergency strobe pattern. You use it like a regular bulb.
How do you get it to stop flashing? Is that part of the app? You have to manually turn that off, I guess, or?
Yeah, so both ones you do. So with the remote control version, you just hit the red button, it stops. With the Wi-Fi version, it actually sends you a push notification that says, like, "Ronnie, the Locator 911 is activated. Do you want to disarm?" Well, if you've got help coming, you want to keep it going, so you would say no. So it's going to keep going. Then when the emergency's over, or you go into your app and you just turn it off.
Okay.
Welcome back, Danny. By the way, I don't want you to get nervous. You live out in the sticks in Eastern Kentucky, probably, or no, you live in Tennessee. I'm sorry, Eastern Tennessee, and you live way out. So I don't want you to get nervous. You're being viewed throughout the world, from Australia to South Africa and all throughout Europe. I know, but by the way, where is this bulb? Where can they get it? Where can they actually buy this bulb? And what are your kind of restrictions as to where you can send them right now?
Sure. So they can purchase on our website at www.thelocator911.com. And the story of that started this whole journey is on there. There's videos that show how to connect the Wi-Fi bulbs and whatnot. Right now, we only ship inside the continental U.S., but we are working towards trying to do some international things. But it's just kind of tough to do with our store platform.
I know right before we came on, I just pulled up the website, and within, I don't know, however long I was on there, less than a minute, there was two things that popped up that said someone had bought one 7 seconds ago, and there was another one that talked about that someone had bought it like 10 minutes ago or something like that. So I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah,
it's doing very well. And I'll let Danny touch on this. We're starting to get some government and some state backing. That I'll let Danny kind of talk about that some.
Well, what we're trying to do, actually, even from a lower, like a county or a city side, is try to get it into a codes, kind of like the smoke detectors. So y'all can't hear me, right? Give me a thumbs up. So I think I was talking a while ago, and nobody was hearing me, but. It's kind of like the smoke detectors. We're hoping to get into like smaller towns, get into the codes where you have to you have to have one before you can get a CO letter on your house. And then up to the Senate level, we've already approached the state Senate to potentially come on board with maybe some funding, some grant money to help get it to people, especially that can't afford it. And that seems to be working. It's just slow. Anything, politically or anything like that is slow. We've approached some people in Alabama, and everybody, it don't take long to buy into the idea because it works. It absolutely works. So that's some things that we're working on now, some grant money. Hopefully that, it'll pass and we can start moving a little bit with that.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
I was going to say, I know you briefly touched on, you get some feedback. What are some success stories, if you can talk about that you guys know of, or obviously not saying who they were or anything like that, but
one especially, Jonathan, you can back me up on this one, or maybe clear up some things on it. This whole device, this whole invention began because, if you hadn't already said it, if you have, just stop me, Jonathan, but it all started because of the death of that 2-year-old child. A few months ago, we got a call from down in Florida of a gentleman who was sending us a thank you letter for helping save his child's life. So that circle kind of came around to a complete for us. That was really breathtaking to get that news. And we've had stories from all over the United States of ones. I'll tell you one quick one that our hospital that I work with at Williamson Health in Franklin, Tennessee, has endorsed us for this product. They believe in it. If an organization like that will, that means a lot. But I told them a story when I went in there to talk to them about it, and I wasn't sure how they would take it, but I'm going to tell you what I told them. I was in an ambulance one day transporting this lady with her special needs adult patient. And after treating, we're riding to the hospital. It wasn't a whole lot wrong, wasn't a whole lot to do, but she looked at me and she said, I've been trying to do something and I just don't know how to do it. And I said, what is it? She said, if there was a light that I could buy, search the internet, if there was a light that I could buy to go in my house that can alert first responders to get to me, because it is so hard to find me. And listen, I do not endorse it as a paramedic on that ambulance. I do not cross that line. I don't do it. I really, really don't. But this day I had to, absolutely. And I had to say something to her. I said, ma'am, I'm going to tell you something. I've got a company that actually makes that product. And she couldn't find anything. And I told her about it, and she about fell out. She said, oh, my God. I said, listen, I'm not going to sell it to you, but I'll give it to you. So she got with me a few days later. We got her a light. She had it installed herself. She actually come up with her own little invention with it. She put a fixture up in the gable end of her house and had it connected. And we have had several calls out there. There's some videos I'd love to use, but I can't because the paramedics are screaming in the background. Oh, Danny, you ain't gonna believe this, man! The light, it's working, and so that was, it wasn't like I was trying to sell the product as being a paramedic on the ambulance, but I had to say something. Yeah, absolutely.
So cool.
Jonathan, you got some more stories.
Yeah,
I know there's one out in Boise, Idaho that you was telling.
Yeah, that was. So when we first launched, which I want to kind of go back to how we got. It's kind of been like a roller coaster. This thing literally blew up in about 2 weeks. But when we started getting a lot of recognition, there was a lady that wrote in that she had already purchased one, and she said, I just want you to know that I lost my husband 3 weeks ago to COVID. And she said, I live in rural Idaho in Boise. I think all of Idaho is rural, isn't it? But she said, I live in just way out in the sticks in Idaho. She said, I want you to know the comfort that I have now, knowing that if I need somebody, they're going to be able to find me. I don't feel so alone. And she sent us a video of the bulb flashing because I said you can manually turn it on. And that was the coolest video that I got, which gave me an idea. I was like, let's showcase some of these customers that have put their faith in our product. And we had a bunch of videos that customers had sent in. Oh, we got the Locator's active in Chicago, and it's, these different places. And I put this video together and put it out of all the different states, which we're in every state but Hawaii and Alaska now. Nice. Got sales everywhere else. Yeah, so it's not only just it's a comfort to some folks knowing that, okay, if I need somebody to find me, they're going to be able to find me with this thing. So,
I think it's great.
One thing that I don't know if you guys brought up, but I went on a call once, and I won't make this the story long. I went on a call once, dispatched to a call out in the county, and I pull up, and I see this little girl waving at the door, come in. We went to the address which we assumed we were dispatched to. And so we get her jump kits, and we're running up the door, open the door, and her daddy pulls out a gun. And he says, "You better get out of my house. You're in the wrong place." And he, this product not only can save lives of patients, it can save lives of first responders. And
that's true.
I've had that a few times, not a lot, but as far as guns pulled out. But this was back several years ago. But it can not only save the lives of patients, it can save the lives of us as first responders as well.
Yeah.
So what's something that the listeners can do for you, as far as, like, I guess if they know somebody in their state reps or something along those lines, or what's something that the people could do to get the word out about your product? I'm sure either that, or maybe you guys have already got that handled to where you're actually reaching out to state congressmen and state senators, et cetera, in the various states. I'm sure you guys are doing that regularly, or at least you're exploring that.
We would ask everybody to reach out to the ones that, in your congressmen or whatever, they're always looking for something for safety and health. And this falls right in the category. If you want to help, one thing, if you remember back when smoke detectors became a code for houses, why do you think that happened? It's because we as humans don't want to put tragedy out in front of our brain. It's not going to happen to us. That's why it's hard for people to buy life insurance. It's why it's tough, because we don't want to think that's going to happen. It's not going to happen to us, but it will, and it can. So we kind of and that's why we try to. I'm sorry, my lights just went out. There we go. That's why we try to keep talking to these people, like someone selling life insurance or smoke detectors, that this is for your safety, and it may not ever happen to you, but it might happen to you tomorrow. And that's why a lot of people, I think, I can sell it to you, and the idea. I'm going to say the idea. I can sell the idea to you in just in 30 seconds if you've never heard of it. It's it definitely is a product that will definitely save your life, and and if you're not using it, it's a light bulb. It's just a regular light that I use every day. When on my phone, I turn my lights on and off with it every day. But
what's the life of the bulb?
25,000 hours. If it's on 24/7, that's about 8 years.
Okay, wow. That's great. That's awesome.
About what a standard LED bulb would be.
Right.
That's usually the lifespan.
And then there was a question someone sent in about, is there any conflicts with, like, if someone has a home security system? I don't see how it would, but is anything like that?
Totally independent. Yeah, it's totally independent of a home security system. Matter of fact, we're in talks with a couple of security companies about them bringing the Locator on with a part of their security package. So
John,
absolutely no problems.
Answer the question about, well, a lot of people, I've had a lot of questions asked me about the infamous flashing seizure that causes seizure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So there is an actual medical condition called, I think it's photo something. I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind at the moment. Photo something epilepsy. And people think that by seeing the flashing lights that it can cause a seizure. And some folks, it can. and of course, in the videos that we put out on social media, it's a lot of the bulbs are flashing. You want to show what our product can do, of course. And some folks were saying, this is just going to cause a seizure. Well, there's a thing called flash per second, or FPS. So typically a flash per second to trigger that photosensitive epileptic seizure is about 30 to 40 FPS on average. The Locator bulb flashes at 14 to 15 FPS. It's nowhere near as intense. It's not even as intense as the emergency vehicles that are coming to help you. So it's not going to cause that seizure that folks are scared of. And if you are very sensitive just to bright light, then just look away. But it is just it's no more intense than the emergency vehicles that are going to be coming to help.
Yeah, I would think that. I mean, if you're calling 911, I would think most of the time you're not going to stay at the same place or something. You're going to move to somewhere else in the house. So I don't think you would just stand underneath that light or anything.
Exactly. But I mean, it's a legitimate concern for folks, and I wanted to address it. That
no, of course.
I'm not making light of it at all. But I just know in my experience, and this is just me, in my 25 years responding, I never responded to a seizure call that was brought on by a flashing light. That's just me. I've never seen it. Not saying it doesn't exist, it does, but I've just never. That's something I never responded to. So.
No, I think that's a great point to bring up, because I'm sure that somebody would have thought of that, and I'm glad that would be a common question, I would think. So, Danny, have you arrived at houses, since you're still working out on the rigs, right?
Right. There.
Have you arrived at a house that had one, and you're like, oh man, hey, they got one of our lights? I mean, that's got to be a good feeling.
Buddy, I am so waiting on it. But my partner at work, his mother had an emergency a few weeks ago. And he used it to actually alert an ambulance, but I haven't done it yet. I'll probably freeze up when I see it and I haven't done it yet. I'm still waiting. Hopefully
that would be surreal.
I want to take a quick minute, and Amanda, I want to take a quick minute and just kind of highlight Danny here for a quick second. Let's show a quick video that is Danny at work, and I think it's just a fun video to show.
I love sharing your heroes each week, and today a Williamson County EMS crew is praised for creating an unforgettable moment in an ambulance last month, and it is probably the last thing you'd expect to happen on an emergency call.
Come on in to Medic 6.
Paul Rucker and Danny Cupples are part of the Williamson County EMS team.
So this is where it all happened.
That answered 22,000 emergency calls last year.
And we take care of them. We start an IV, get them on our monitor.
They are heroes by trade.
And we've got everything we need within arm's reach to treat the patient.
But these partners have also found there's more than one way to make their patients feel better.
Danny will just feel, hey, this is a good time for me to sing and calm the patient down. And it really does.
I can't explain when to do it or when not to do it. It's just the way I treat,
You could say that Danny offers sunshine when skies are gray.
One song that everybody knows, You Are My Sunshine. And I just started singing to her, and she just lit up like a light bulb. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray.
Danny uses that one song and that sweet voice
I held you in my arms
to help anxious ambulance patients. He's done it for 33 years.
Oh, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
And he did it again when they raced to help 89-year-old Barbara Stringer. She fell and broke her hip.
To me, this is heroic because this made my mother-in-law feel safe and comfortable, and it made us feel safe and comfortable, and we were 5 hours away, knowing she was in good hands.
Danny says he wasn't sure she'd remember the song, but in the hospital, The nurse asked Mrs. Stringer how she got to the hospital. She couldn't say it, but she could sing it.
Do you remember falling? She said, yes. Do you remember how you got here? She started saying, you're my sunshine. That's why we wanted everybody to know that our guys here in Winfrey County are heroes. All right, you got company, see if you recognize anybody.
That unexpected sunshine has formed a bond.
Remember me? Yeah, I do. Hey, I heard you had to have surgery. Yes.
Danny and Paul stopped by to see her recently in recovery.
You really did. You were just wonderful. Thank you.
And there was only one way.
Maybe.
All right, I'll get it started.
Okay.
You gonna help me, right?
I'll try.
Okay.
To reconnect.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear. I think it touches me as much as it does them. I really do. Please don't take my sunshine away. Good job. You're so good.
In Williamson County.
You got a pretty voice.
Amy Watson, News Channel 5.
A 90-year-old woman.
That's pretty good. That's really good.
Mrs. Stringer gave Danny and Paul gift certificates because she wanted to thank them for, appreciate them for their kindness. By the way, she is 89. She does turn 90 next month. And a special thank you to Williamson County EMS and Fire and to Chuck Gordon for sharing this wonderful story with us.
And our great assistant chief photographer, yes. Catherine Stewart, helped you with that story.
She's amazing.
It was incredible, and this is what My Hero is all about. It's so special. We all have a Mrs. Stringer in our life, whether it's our mom or grandmother, aunt, whatever, and that's what we would want for our loved one. That treatment.
Exactly, and that's what Mr. Gordon wanted to emphasize because he was out of town and said it made her so comfortable. By the way, she gets to go home on Monday.
How about that?
Yeah.
I love it.
I love that story. I think it was really neat, and I appreciate you sharing that with me, Danny. I want to remind the listeners, well, first of all, if you can't tell that Jonathan and Danny are not good people, come on. They've got a great product. They're awesome people. I love the fact that you guys are – I love that they did a story about EMS because you guys are kind of the unsung heroes. You don't get a lot of that. And this bulb here – Jonathan and Danny are going to do something. This is going to be our first giveaway because we're trying to be trendsetters on KGRA digital broadcasting. It's time for the other hosts to step up their game because they are actually going to give away 2 of these. And how I've thought about how we're going to do this. For the people that are outside of the country, it's not going to do you any good. So it's going to have to be intercontinental United States. Go to my Detective Jason White Facebook page. I'm going to post this video on there because I have to figure out a way that I'm going to be able to do this where it's random. And when you get on there, once I post this video, get on there and you're going to have to put a number on the comments, like number 1, and then leave your name or comment or whatever. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on this site that basically picks your number randomly, so we will know it's random. And then what I will do is I will post the numbers that are the winners, and I'll take a picture of the numbers so you know that it's legit. You know I'm legit anyway, but I want to make sure that you don't think that there's any favoritism. And then we'll randomly select you, and you will win this incredible light bulb, and we're going to give away 2 of them. And I think that's very generous of the both of them to do that, and that's going to be really. I think it'll be a lot of fun to start it out. I will put the directions on my Detective Jason White Facebook page. So read the directions. Don't ask me 50 times. Just read the directions, please. And then we'll do a random thing, and I'll let you know when we're going to end up doing the drawing and so forth. And then they will ship it to you direct because I'm going to give them your address, and they're going to go ahead and ship it to you direct. And I think that's very, very nice, and I appreciate that very much. We've got 2 minutes left here. What are your final comments that you want to share with us, Jonathan?
So I don't think, did we lose? I think we lost Danny. I don't think it would be right if I don't mention this little story. So when we're all through the research and development and all this of getting the locator going, we had some prototypes that we were using, and I had a prototype at my house. In 2019, I moved my mother in with my wife and little girl. Her health was starting to deteriorate, and we wanted to take care of her. So we moved my mother in, and in February, this may have been the year before we launched. I think I had the prototype. We had just built our house, so the GPS data had not been updated yet for that area. So our house did not register with any GPS devices. My mother had a bunch of fluid get on her lungs very quickly. Pulmonary edema is what the term is. She got very short of breath. It was about 10 o'clock at night. And I got my mom as comfortable as I could. I grabbed my phone. Of course, I've got a prototype in the front porch of my house. And I pull my phone out and I call, light goes off, talking to the dispatcher. And I said, hey, this is a heck of a time to try to plug a product. I said, tell the crew to look for the flashing lights on my house. I said, the house doesn't register with GPS devices. So if they look for the flashing the flashing lights on the house, they're going to turn around in the driveway. Typically, if you were to follow a GPS to my house, we lived on a lake at that point. It would stop you about a half to 3/4 of a mile before you get to my driveway. And you're actually on the dam of this lake. It stops you right in the middle of the dam. Well, I'm standing on my front porch now. My wife was with my mother, and I could see the ambulance coming in from the top of the hill a couple miles away. I have no leaves or anything. It was in February. They got to the dam where I know a GPS would stop you, and they kept right on coming, right on coming. My security system caught all this on video. They pulled right in my driveway. They pulled right around the front circle. I had a circle drive, and they pulled around. And I walked out to the ambulance. I guess I got back in paramedic mode, but I went out and I opened the back of the doors, and I was going to help them. And the paramedic got out of the passenger seat, and I told him what was going on with my mom. And he said, that, my friend, and he pointed at the locator, it was still flashing. He said, that thing is amazing. He said, we saw that a mile away. We knew exactly where we were going. I said, we didn't even have to look anymore. We knew exactly where we were going. So my mother was the first person to ever use the Locator 911, and she passed away. So I just wanted to say that my mom was the first one that got to use that. So
incredible. And listen, we've got to run. I want to tell you, Jonathan and Danny, thank you so much. I mean, I number one, I just appreciate the fact that you guys thought up such a great idea. I from time to time, I already know that I'm going to be mentioning your bulb, and hopefully people tell you that they watched it here, and you guys just have massive success. And I wish you nothing but the best. People, this is a great idea. Get one for your home. It's a small price to pay. 4 to 6 minutes and brain damage sets in. Could be 4 to 6 minutes. Am I right? That's EMT days. 4 to 6 minutes and you could have brain damage. We've got to run. I don't remember the next guest, but I want to thank everybody. Thank you all for watching. Amanda, take us out.